Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board meeting. I think this is the first one we've had completely online, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm kind of play it by ear. We'll see how well we can manage this. So we've got, I know my community board has had a meeting online with ourselves before, so we kind of know how it works. And we've got a number of members and speakers from the public to join us. So if you could all put your speakers on mute, please, until you're called. I see most of you have done that already. And then we'll start from there. So our first speaker this morning, public forum, is Jenny Ryan. Jenny, would you like to turn your microphone and camera on if you can and join us? You got 5 minutes. Thanks very much.
Kia ora, good morning, and thank you for having me on your forum today. This is my first time joining the meeting, so just really keen to become more involved in the community and building relationships with you all. In terms of a couple of issues in Rauani that I'd like to raise, you're probably all quite familiar with them, but most recently our waterfront precinct has had somewhat of a halfway makeover in terms of rectifying the safety area for it, where the cars are parked. Basically, we're a heritage area, so that's a key consideration of how are we staying true to the heritage of Rauani and the waterfront. And also it's a key safety issue as well for not only traffic management, because we have quite a large volume of traffic lining up for the ferry. We have large delivery trucks coming into town, school buses, you name it, and camper vans. And that leads me to tourism. So we are still, a key tourism asset, and Rauani's waterfront plays a big part in that. It was just disappointing to see big concrete blocks dumped there, and I don't believe there was any community consultation or knowledge with regards to that. So it's just disappointing to see. We still have a big water tank that's been there for a couple of years that's putting significant pressure on the area. I just don't know whether we could be doing something to further enhance the infrastructure of Rauani's waterfront, but also to increase the health and safety, the traffic management, and we could do something better than ugly concrete blocks that are not consistent, they don't look finished. And when you look at what's been done in Monganui on the beautiful East Coast with beautiful wooden bollards, I feel that Rauani's really been left out, and we could be doing better. So that's the key issue, I think, is the waterfront. How are we protecting it for future generations against coastal erosion? In addition, and second issue for Rauani, which I think everyone's probably well aware of, is the lack of a safe footpath for the community to walk from town to the hospital. We do have kaumātua and elderly who are having to walk on the road, which is very unsafe. They've stopped traffic because they literally have to go on the road. There's a footpath that it just stops, and in addition to that, it's in a very bad condition in some areas. So that would be another area where I guess we would like to see some community focus and perhaps some thought put into future planning in those two areas in Rauani.
Right, thank you, Jenny. Now, my members, if you wish to ask a question, can you put up your hand rather than just jumping in? So, are there any people who would like to ask Jenny any questions from my membership? No? Okay, thank you, Jenny.
No, Louis actually raised his hand physically.
He's got his mute on. Let's just take himself off mute.
Oh, okay, hang on. Louis?
Yep.
No, by raise hand, I mean in the little raise hand icon.
Okay.
In the chat.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Okay. Yeah. All right. There we go.
Cool. Okay, right. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, Lou, would you like to ask Jenny? You go for it.
Yeah, I understand that you've got some video footage of some guy, one of the locals with walking sticks, walking up that stretch of road near Rene's place, and the traffic is slowed right down, can't get past him because he's struggling to get up the road. Is it possible to get that circulated to community board members?
I don't personally have that footage, and I'll double check with the person that has that footage. I haven't received it myself, but I believe that footage was also shown to council and a submission to council after that happened. No resolution that in terms of concern in that area. But yes, I would try and get footage.
Oh, would be good. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Hang on, I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Emma. Okay, Moko.
Kia ora. Thank you, Chair Edmonds. Just to clarify, we're restricted only to questions, right? We can't actually make statements or have a conversation here.
The conversation's out, but if you follow the lead of previous community board members, I guess a statement phrased as a question might be acceptable as long as it's a short one.
Thank you. No, I did know that. I just wanted you to say it on the camera as well for everybody. Kia ora, Jenny. Thank you for speaking to our community board. Just to the point to the water tanks that are still down there at I believe that the waterfront of Rawane's original name is Okura. So the water tanks that are down at Okura at the Rawane waterfront, those were left over from when we were in fear of running out of water for our townships. Do you think that the community would be happy if we looked into maybe once we get into winter again and we know that we are definitely in the clear for the potential to be in a drought again, that they could wait until then? I know that this is the busy season that those are taking up space down on the waterfront, or we could look into somewhere else to potentially empty and reposition them to.
Yes, definitely. I think there is opportunity to reposition them in other areas of the township. Yes, and the tanks were put in when we were in, I think, level red or level 4 drought, and we were about to hit emergency supply. At this point in time, I don't believe we are even on water restrictions in the town, so I think it could safely be taken away at this point. But it is obviously a dry summer, and there's been fires and whatnot. So, but it's definitely, I think we're all ready for it to go. It's probably not safe for drinking anymore, so I don't know what the use of the water would be. It's been sitting there for over 2 years, and it's about 30,000 litres of water weight sitting on that very delicate foreshore. So absolutely, I think there's a number of locations in Rawane where it could be moved, or I'm not too sure, like just completely remove it. One area I think is down by the recycling centre, or potentially up by the hospital, or another area where it might be appropriate for civil defence to have access to water. But as I said, I don't know where it's drinking.
Thanks for that, Jenny. And just one more quick question, if I can, Chair. Have you by chance put through any... Sorry, just in chambers, it gets a bit muffled, if they're still speaking, members in chambers. Have you by chance put in any requests for service requests into council around the water tanks, or any of this that we can follow up the numbers on? Otherwise, we can probably follow up this to see what we could do as well.
Not me personally, but my neighbour submitted an RFS back in June, and he received a reply from someone called Josh, and Josh confirmed that the tanks were being removed, and that was back in June, and one's gone but one is still there. So there's been a number of RFS by community members, and I do have those documents if you need me to share those RFS emails, where it was acknowledged that the tanks were being removed. Unfortunately, one is still there at present.
Can you
Okay,
send
then,
me
thank
that
you.
email, please, Jenny?
Say that
Jenny,
again, sorry.
Can you just forward that email on to either Muka or I, please?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
I'll just need an
forward it on.
email address.
And well, I mean, especially when the council has said to you an email they're going to do something and they're not. I mean, that's something that we can easily follow up. Okay, John. Sorry,
Yes.
John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Very quickly, Jenny, thanks for coming on. Those issues you raised have been raised before, and we're aware of them. But I'm keen to actually look at how we can progress that, and having support from different communities, the communities groups in Rawene would be great. So can we have a contact? Are you part of a community group there, or just a concerned individual? It'd be nice to actually.
I'm part of a group of residents who are very keen to see some progress.
Yep. So it'd be nice to actually have that contact if you haven't already fired it through. Maybe Melina has got it to make further progress in this area. Thank you.
Emma, your question.
Yeah, thank you, Jenny, for coming on board. I just was going to ask the question, how long have you been in Rawene? Because you have made some valid points, but I have to say things have improved in the years that I've lived in Rawene, nearly 30 years. And just recently, the volume of traffic has certainly slowed down compared to what it used to be. So, yeah. So can you just tell me how long you've lived there, and do you use the RFS system?
I've been associated with Rawene off and on for about 15 years and lived here permanently for 3. I live on the waterfront, so I'll disclose that I live right in front of those water tanks, and I live right in front of the traffic. So I do see on a daily basis the queues of camper vans and trucks and ferry traffic, which yeah, I'm not sure, based on previous years, but there's a steady, constant flow of traffic to the point where Rawene also has recently introduced some speed bumps to help slow down the speed of traffic racing down to catch the ferry.
Great, thank you, Jenny. I'm sure we've all made some notes and looking forward to getting your email. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks. Okay, Peter, are you there? Peter McCraith, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you've got 5 minutes.
Five.
Welcome. And you've got 5 minutes to tell us your story, and then if you don't mind, we'll let it over to questions from the members afterwards.
Okay, thank you. I ngā members o te Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board, tēnā koutou. Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to present your application to the board. My name's Peter McCraith. I'm representing the Broadwood Manganui o Wai area. In support, I have locals, June Hick, online, June Hick, who has done a lot of the work on this project, Linda Lunovich, who has also been great support, and her daughter, Anna Belts, who, as well as being locally born and raised, happens to be a senior planner in the Tauranga office of Botha Miskell, an environmental planning and design consultancy group, who we have helping us with this project. Why are we here? We're here in support of our funding application to the board for a total of $56,000, including GST, to complete a feasibility assessment by Botha Miskell to reinstate our bridge over the Manganui o Wai River. Supplementing our application is the detailed quote from Botha Miskell. We want to reinstate a part of the bridge as it's a part of the heritage of our area, to stop the decline in revenue and to provide natural, historical and cultural attractions for locals and tourists alike. Our community was saddened and disappointed to lose our swing bridge late last year, but understood ultimately the safety reasons at play that led to council removing the bridge. A quick recap on the bridge's history. It was first built in 1909 and used to bring traffic over the river, foot traffic as well as vehicle and horse traffic. In 1951, it was converted to a walking-only bridge to allow the residents from Takahui Saddle Road to gain access to Broadwood Village. The bridge was then swept away by a flood. We don't know exactly what year. The records of all this we think were lost in the Rawene Council building fire back in the late 80s. However, the residents continued to use across the creek to get access to the village. And then in 1992, a local resident, Mr. Steve Crouch, constructed the Broadwood Swing Bridge, paying for the building permit, acquiring all the materials, and then gifted it to the community with the intention that it would be a permanent provision of walking access across the river at this location. The bridge was consented by council at that time. And by doing so, reinstating that key piece of Broadwood's history. This was great until several years ago when the bridge was closed by council due to safety concerns. And with the lack of available funding to rebuild the bridge, it was sadly taken down late last year. The Broadwood is part of the Twin Coast Discovery Route, and our goal and our Broadwood Progressive Committee is to beautify our township, to attract visitors. And we have a camping ground, we have picnic areas, and we have this bridge which gives access to a beautiful walkways through a native bush area alongside the river, behind the local hall, that complement other walkways in that area. It was planned to have a pamphlet with these walkways promoting it and the historic sites that Broadwood has in its history, as all part of our tourist package, so to speak, that the Progressive Committee were working on. And the bridge, like I said before, is a key part of this. And it also gave access to the now 93-year-old Anglican Church on the other side of the river, as well as a native bush reserve that's a significant Nico palm bush area. And can I just show you a quick, is it possible for me to show some photos if I need to be able to share my screen to do that? Is that possible or not?
You can try and see how it goes and talk to it. I have no problems with that. Just while you're going, Peter, I noticed that Anna and June are on the list as well.
Yes.
Because we're all on the same subject, it's a total, like you're all going to have to share the time.
And totally get that. I'm going to in about 3 sentences. I'll be introducing Anna, and she will step in on the engineering side of things.
Share your screen. Yep.
Okay, right. Elia, can you see these?
No.
No. Okay. Maybe not going to work. All right. What I wanted to show, just a couple of photos of the area, and then also on the hokianga.com tourist destination website, there's still a photo of the swing bridge and talks about it as it says there are a lot of people who are a fan of suspension or swing bridges. It's simply fun to use. And it's part of promoting Broadwood. So that's what I wanted to add there. Okay. Done. Right, economic benefits. Broadwood's the only fuel stop between Morewa and Kaitaia. It's on the Twin Coast Discovery Route, as I've already mentioned. Many motorists and cyclists take this route. Talking to the local shopkeeper, he estimates over 1,000 cyclists a year come through Broadwood. We lost revenue for a number of summers when the bridge was closed, and we were unable to capitalise on when Mangamuka State Highway 1 was closed and all traffic was diverted through Broadwood. So we want to create the possibilities for other businesses in Broadwood also. Community benefits, reinstating a key part of Broadwood's history, giving back to our community an asset we always took great pride in. And teach the local school, the local kura, uses the walkway when the bridge was there as a fitness trail for the local school kids. Right. Securing this funding, we are applying for today is to enable us to undertake this assessment by Bofa Miskell. I'm going to hand over to Anna now to talk quickly to that.
Thanks, Peter. Kia ora tātou katoa. My name's Anna Bells. My maiden name is Lunovich, and I'm a local person. I do live away though in Tauranga. Just in terms of the costing exercise that my workplace did, obviously there is very much welcome to put that out to tender. We sort of did this costing exercise just to get an idea about what a feasibility study would cost, and we have had inputs from WSP, an engineering firm with personnel based in Whangarei who are familiar with the bridge and in fact condemned it and helped disestablish the bridge. So yeah, absolutely doesn't. It may well be somebody else who does this feasibility study. To the study itself, I suppose the question is initially, why do we need to do this study? And on a basic level, you can look at it and go, why don't we just rebuild that exact type of bridge or something very similar? But the people at WSP with engineering skills, they have confirmed that essentially that's not possible. A swing bridge needs anchors back from the starting point, and to meet current standards, those anchors would be basically on the other side of the road, which is obviously not tenable. So because of that, we need to look at other options, possibly, of bridge structures and also other locations to, if we decide to have a swing bridge, maybe it should be in other locations. So this funding is to enable an assessment to look at potentially 2 or 3 different types of bridges in 2 or 3 different locations, so that we can choose possibly the most cost-effective design, the best location, and something that's really going to work and really going to do the best for the community. So just wanted to reinforce that point in terms of a feasibility study. I have, on my work front, I have done feasibility studies before, but I have done projects where they haven't been done. Those projects have always been where there's been a simple solution and it's quite obvious what that solution is, but this is not the case here. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to contribute.
Thanks, Anna. Mr. Chairperson, could I have about 1 minute more? Would that be okay within the time frame we have allocated?
Yeah, you go for it.
Thank you. Yeah, so the scope of work that Bofamiska will be undertaking includes obviously not only the planning or the technical assessments part of it, but also consultation with community, consultation with mana whenua, and consultation with all Far North District Council stakeholders and throughout the consent process. Right, from here, our plan of attack, number 1, gain the 56,000 of funding to complete this assessment. Number 2, commission Bofamiska to undertake the work. Number 3, present the option back agreed to by all stakeholders from our side of the fence to council for final sign-off consent. Funding-wise, there was 103,000 already towards a bridge rebuilt included in the Far North District Council long-term funding plan 2022-23. It's almost certain additional funding will be required above this amount to complete the bridge build. Assuming so, we intend to apply for this from the likes of Foundation North, Lotteries, and MBIE Tourism Infrastructure Fund. On this, as a community, we have a track record here. We were recently successful in gaining substantial funding from Lotteries for our planned renovation project of the Broadwood Community Hall. So we know how to, we'd like to think we know how to go about this. Complete the long-term formed community plans for the walkways and information plaques which centre around the bridge, and then re-promote with confidence Broadwood as a tourist stopover destination. In summary, the Broadwood community feels strongly about the importance of a bridge for connecting the communities that we have and as an asset to promote the North Hokianga. We plead for your financial support to help our community to reinstate our bridge. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you both. Now, my members, are there any questions? Please put up your hand in the chat or in the Teams. I don't think so. Anybody in? Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Doesn't look like there's any questions today. Thank you both.
Mr. Chairperson, can I just quickly make sure that out of our other 2 representatives online that there was nothing else they wanted to add, if we have time? No time? Okay.
Cool. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, Renee and Craig, are you both there? Do you both want to speak, or is it one or the other? Renee, Craig, so the Sailing Club.
You're on mute there, Renee.
Okay, so is Renee in the room?
Yeah, he's there.
There's a sign up saying he cannot unmute.
Marlena, is it possible to unmute Renee and Craig?
Sorry, through the chair, it is not possible on my end. They have to unmute on their end. There is a microphone looking button on your screen, gentlemen, if you would.
Oh, actually, they've gone offline, so they may be rejoining in a sec.
We can still see them there, Chair.
Yeah.
If you're on a computer, Renee, it should be at the top on the right-hand side.
They're gone off line.
Or an easier thing to do is you could leave the meeting and rejoin.
It looks like they might be doing that.
They're back.
Oh, I can still see them. Oh no, there we go.
We'll just wait a minute or so. Okay, why don't we carry on, and we will, if they rejoin, we'll give them some time.
Through
Okay.
the chair, they're rejoining now.
Okay.
Renee, we can hear you. Oh, still on mute, I believe.
Renee, it's Kim Hammond here. Do you want to grab your cell phone and I will give you a phone call on that?
Yeah, right. Let's do that, Kim. If you want to deal with them, and then just let us know when it's a thing, and we'll stop the meeting and let them talk. Okay, right. Back to the meeting. Our next item on the agenda is the confirmation of the previous minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes? Are there any corrections to be had?
I'll move.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so we'll just now, we haven't done this before, team. So the way it happens is that Marlene will just call your name, and you'll just. Well, should I tell you what for this particular one, we'll assume a consent. So all those. Is there anybody against the idea of these correct minutes? Okay,
No,
so
that's fine.
if you all just want to give me an aye on vocal, that'll be enough.
Aye.
Yeah, cool. Okay. That's passed. Thank you. But normally we just tick them as the name gets called. Okay, so next item. Okay, the next item on the list is the Kaikohe-Hokianga Statement of Community Board Fund Account as of the 31st of December. Do I have somebody who would like to move a motion on that?
I'm happy to move, Mr. Chair.
That's John Vucic. Okay, do I have a seconder?
Yeah. Happy to second.
Okay.
Yeah. See you next week.
Okay, right. And we'll do, just for ease of talking, if you want to talk to it, just stick up your hand and I'll call your name. Nobody? Okay, we'll just put it to a vote then. All those, sorry, Marlene, would you like to call the names, please?
Certainly. Chair
yeah,
Edmonds.
aye.
Emma Davis. Member Davis.
Yes.
Member Turenberg.
Yes.
Member Van Galen.
Yeah.
Member Hessel.
Yes.
Member Byers. Member Vucic.
Aye.
And Member Te Pania.
Aye.
Okay, that's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, next item 6.2, the Kaikohe-Hokianga Statement of Financial Performance Activities by Ward. Do I have a mover?
Yeah, I'll move
Okay,
it.
okay, Alan moves that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board receives the Kaikohe-Hokianga Statement of Financial Performance Activities by Ward for the period ending 31st of December 2021. Is that right, Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do I have a seconder?
I'm happy to second.
And thank you, John. Right. Does anybody wish to talk?
Yep. I do.
Louis, away you go.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the figures on the following page whatever it is. I'm looking at the item of swimming pools. 62,000 has been spent, 27 was allocated. I'm just wondering what pools are being used. I'd like to see Rawene pool added to the list. The community has really missed out on not having a pool in Rawene this year. In the past, the pool has been subsidised by council to some extent, or have employed people to sit there. I'm just wondering what we can do to sort of reinstigate that in Rawene.
Any thoughts?
Couldn't they just put a funding application in to have their wages covered for a year?
Yeah, and to find the right people. It's a pity to see it unused at this summertime, school holidays. So there's issues with the school being totally out of bounds these days with big fences around it.
Is that the pool you're talking about, the school pool?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I thought their position was nobody can use it.
Yeah, in the past it's been used by the community over summer and things like that.
Okay.
Graham Wiley and Laurie Royals used to sort of do that.
Yeah, sure.
COVID restrictions have put a whole heap of things on schools though, so that falls under their umbrella at the minute.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just what I was going to say. I was just guessing. I was just thinking that if we had a pool here at our school, no way would we open it to the community because it's simply too hard. It's in the too hard basket at COVID red with all of the different restrictions. So,
John,
I don't know if that's why.
Yep.
Yep, I was going to say a similar thing that knowing the pools that we do within council support, it is quite difficult these days to actually get something that's operational and get the numbers that are going there. So but just going back to this item on the table though, Mr. Chair, I would suggest the question could be asked where that money is being spent. I suspect it's in the Kaikohe pool because of the recent repairs being made to that pool in terms of the fix that they had to do.
Oh, okay. That was okay. So yeah.
But that's just me speaking. That ought to be confirmed.
Okay, that's cool. Emma?
Yeah, I think I agree with Kelly because of COVID restrictions. We haven't done that, but I think maybe once COVID is over, we should form a group in Rawene, or Louis, you can organise a group to be formed, and then they go and have a talk with the principal first and foremost, and then go from there.
Okay, cool.
Okay. There was also another issue I wanted to bring up on that, and that's the issue of footpaths on there. The actual budget that's been spent is 75,000, but like the annual planned budget was for 175,000. And what's happening with the footpaths? Or shall we bring that up in the action sheets because there's issues with regard to that as well? Does anybody know?
We are still waiting for the NTA to come back to us and answer our questions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they walked out on us and didn't come back with the questions we asked.
I noticed in the action sheet they're talking about having a meeting with us in April, which is a fair way down the track, and that we've got a budget of $450,000 sitting there for the 3 years.
Well, I guess we wait till April then, Louis. I mean, I don't know. There's much to be had with contractors at the moment with this COVID. So, look, let's go at this in a methodical way. We've asked the NTA to come back to us and work with us on these footpaths. They haven't. I've expressed to the council a disappointment that some footpaths are being reclassified as roads, and thereby it's effectively an end run around our delegations. So we, that's so, and then those roads we don't have a say about. We can't elevate them to the top in terms of our priorities. So, and like I say, and we're competing with the entire district for our footpath, or sorry, our footpath classified as roads, which was not the intention, as I understand, of the council when they made the long-term plan. But like I say, it just seems to be an end run around the council, the governance decisions, and I don't know where to go with that, Lou. I mean, I've mentioned it in council. I've mentioned it in infrastructure and maintenance. Maybe John, maybe you could talk about it.
Yeah, I did put my hand up on that particular item, and I wanted you to note the government subsidies, zero spent, and what was expected to be spent, and the note that's referring to Wakakotahi and the footpaths. So I think that's a major issue that we should be following through, and having community support on that would be most appreciated. We had a representative just in the today, probably not still here, but saying how there is a danger with the footpaths in Rawene and people trying to make it to the hospital, especially those that are aged, having to walk on the road. So we have and that is also a state highway. It is on the major tourist route. To not do anything is irresponsible in my view. So we having put that, say, let's push it and get the intended agreed principles we had, where we had allocation to the Kaikohe-Hokianga community be done, and not being actually going in and struggling and for what we're now calling a road and missing out again. So that's my only comment, really. That's a high priority. I think that as a community board, we should be starting to push and continue to do with the work that you've been doing there, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Any other comments? Anybody in the chambers want to speak? No. Okay, right. I'll put that motion to the vote. Marlene, would you like to please read the names?
Oh.
Chair Edmonds.
Aye.
Member Davis.
Yes.
Member Turenberg.
Yes.
Member Van Galen.
Yep.
Member Hessel.
Yes.
Member Byers.
Yep.
Member Vusic.
Aye.
Member Tepania.
Aye.
Sorry, carried.
Yes.
Okay. Item 6.3.
Through the chair, we have the funding applicants back with us.
Great. Why don't we start there? Renee and Craig, are you there? Can you unmute?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, away you go.
Are we all ready?
Away you go.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, all. Kia ora. Look, we're representing Rawene Gym Club and the Rawene Sailing Trust, and we have talked about these things before and had meetings with you. What we're talking about is recreational facilities in Rawene, and specifically we've been dealing with sealing. So we've realised that we made an error when we attended the long-term plan. So we had good representation at the long-term plan, but I think the error we made was that we didn't actually put a dollar value on our request. So we were requesting improvements to recreational facilities, and specifically sealing, because one of the biggest worries is the unsealed area outside their community shed, the gym club, sailing club shed. And the other one is the area where the sailing club operate, which is down in front of Clendon House by the boat ramp, the big parking area where all the boats operate in that. So we requested these things, but we didn't put a dollar value on it. So we do know a little bit about the dollar value now, because we were requested to get a quote for the ceiling by the community shed. Now, this was 86,000. Downers kindly did a quote for us, and another 24,000 to finish that ceiling with hot mix asphalt, which is the stuff that is fit for purpose, where you've got people trying to do recreational activities, and also where you've got people maneuvering vehicles, not high volume of vehicles, but where you've got people maneuvering vehicles and boats and things, which rips up the chip seal. So what we could sort of say, based from that quote from Downers, was that yes, it's about 100,000 to do by the community shed in the council's recreation area. So to fix the area there so that it's fit for purpose is about 100. And we would imagine to put, based on the figures, those figures, to put the hot mix asphalt seal on the Glendon Esplanade area, boat ramp area, parking area there, would be about another $100,000. So here we can now put a dollar value. We can say, yes, $200,000 is urgently required for the recreational activities in Rawene. Now, what I now feel is, and what I'm asking you, we just didn't know this, and so we're asking for your help. We're asking for your help as the community board to put this dollar value on the applications we did make to the long-term plan. I mean, the applications are there, it was specific, we spoke to it, but we just didn't have a dollar value. So we found out that really was necessary. So we don't know what to do, but we're asking for your guidance and help with this matter. And so that's about all I've really got to say. I don't know if you want to have a discussion about it here, but
no, we'll I'll open up to my members' questions, Craig. Okay, so members, why don't we start with is there anybody in chambers who wishes to ask Craig a question? No? Okay, anybody else? So, John, away you go.
Yeah, thanks, Renee and Craig. Look, that is a little bit of unfortunate that you didn't have that, and as you're probably aware, that the figure 200K is beyond what the community board's got budget for. But certainly, and I'm sure that I'm speaking for the rest of the community board, we can look at helping. And what I'd like to do, so I'm trying to think about the questions, I've got to ask a question here, is can you make yourselves available, and perhaps, I'm not sure what the structure will be, that where the community board can meet with you and look at solutions going forward. And certainly with that side of it, I've got some thoughts and ideas, given we've got the training campus, given that we want to look at sustainable procurement. I think there is quite a bit that can be done. Now, the question I've got for you is in the Rawene community, there was work being done, I believe, on your community plan. Was this actually included in your community plan at any stage? Why I asked that question, it helps with the case greatly to actually have that planning, and maybe we need to refresh it or something, but that's my question. Is this been identified, the seal been identified in your community plan?
Yeah, John, the community plan does mention recreational activities and facilities for recreational activities in Rawene. It's definitely in there.
Right, but not specifically projects such as sealing the road, right?
No, because the plan really, they don't deal with specific projects, don't they? They're more general, yeah. So, but it definitely fits in there under this that heading, that title. Yeah. Yep.
But you will be up for a meeting and looking at the plan for the Rawene and looking at the earlier speaker. I don't know if you heard her. She was saying about the preserving of the foreshore, and then you've got your footpaths. I think Rawene is and she deserves it in need of an overall plan and beautification, given where we want to go and get ready for the coming season.
Yeah, it is, John. It's a really strong group. you know, the group, the Sailing Trust and the Gym Trust are a really strong group with lots of members, a lot of activity, and we've made a mistake. That's what we realised by not putting a dollar value on it. We narrowed it down to this, and I think that's the key thing here. And look, we're happy to have a meeting, definitely. And you just say when, we'll be there. That's we're very happy for that. But really, I'm looking for a way, if we can, where we did attend the long-term plan. It was in there, but it didn't have a dollar value. So we're just trying to add the dollar value on if we can. I know that's probably a bit of a strange request, but it certainly seems to be the key to go forward with this. Renee.
Okay, any other members wish to ask questions?
Yep, like if I can.
Okay, where you go.
Yeah, like I'm just trying to remember there was also that big isthmus study done in Rawene of the sort of town beautification. And that whole area down there got special attention and mention. I don't know whether sealing of that area was done in there, but do you know if it was mentioned in that plan?
I think it was, Louis. I think the isthmus people definitely dealt with, you know, a lot of recreational stuff, and I think that was specified, as well as the cycleway extension, you know, the stop bank, and they put a lot of work into that area, and we certainly should visit that document. Yeah.
And I agree that sort of work needs to be done in that area. Rawene, well, do you think Rawene is time has come?
Yeah. Can I say something, Louis? I mean, at the moment, the urgency is there for this gym club and the sailing club. A lot of cars coming in and out. In wintertime, it's soaked. In summertime, it's a dusty hell. I mean, we can't wait another 3 or 4 years because it's really not fit for purpose. And we brought that to the council, and the council advised us that we have to ask for funding at the community board, and that's how this ball is rolling. Now, we don't want to just go in circles and circles for the next 5 or 7 years, you know, and being put off to the next long-term planning. What we really would like to see is there's a problem here, but we have the recreation area has become very successful, and we have to do something about the access. I think it's really not okay how it is at the moment.
Is there any other sources that you can think of that you can get funding from, like ASB Trust or Lotto or whatever? You know,
well, we can try, yes, of course, but this was our first.
The problem there, Louis, is that it's council land.
Okay.
You know, so what they're saying is it's a council matter. We did look at this, and we had a meeting with King from the council, and we actually asked that question. And so you immediately run into a funding problem because it's council land and council area, and you know, I don't know. I think that
even though you've leased the property from council, the land from council. You've got a lease on the
apparently. Yeah, I know that Kim's looking into this, but that was her advice to us. And yeah.
Okay.
We know that, you know, all things must go through the community board. And what we're asking the community board to do is to see if they can go back to our long-term plan and add a dollar value to it. That's basically what we're asking the community board to help us with. I don't know if this is possible. It might just be not possible.
Okay, so we'll get advice on that, Craig.
That would be really good.
Yeah, I mean, you raise some great questions, and to be fair, they're also questions that we ask over and over again here.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks.
So so you know, going through this will also educate us.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Can I say one last thing about for the gym club about the application for the computer? Because I'm a member of the trust as well there, and so I have 2 heads. And it has been made clear to us that we need to, for all the people coming to the gym, have to do the contact tracing, and that's a reason more to to have this computer on site at the gym.
Great stuff.
So that's not
Scan
a
the
way for the application to scan the people who come into the gym.
To scan the vaccine passport. Yeah.
Okay, are there any members who wish to...
Thank you, that's it.
Okay. Are there any questions who wish to question Renee, or any members who wish to question Renee about the computer?
Yeah, just one. Yeah,
Yeah.
from the report, you said at the moment you're getting outside help resetting the dials all the time, the key entry thing, and that will be done with the computer as well. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, because we have the tab system and it runs all over the computer, and and it needs to be actually a computer constantly there. And if that's not, it's a huge. We can't actually trace. We can't see who's coming in and going out, and you can't use your tab very well. We can't stop people from using the gym if they are not vaxxed, and etc. etc.
Great stuff. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, before I start the funding item, is there any reason, because normally we do parts of it in public exclusion because of the privacy of individuals, where we wish to talk about individuals. Does anybody have any reason to put any of the funding applications into public exclusion? Let me know.
I would like to, Chair Edmonds, just simply because of the sheer size of what we've been asked for to consider the amounts.
Okay,
we do have, I would like free and frank discussion. I know that's a reason why we can go into public exclusion.
Okay, right. Okay, so in that case, what we'll do is we'll put that at the end of the meeting so that if anybody wishes to stay for most of the items, and then we're only got public exclusion at the end. So I'm going to go to item 7.1 now on page 67. Okay, so Dacine's report. Okay, do I have a mover for that item?
Happy to move, Chair Edmonds.
Okay, so Mokolo moves that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board receive the report, Community and Customer Service Activities 6-monthly report. Do I have a second for that?
Yep.
That sounds like Alan. Good. All right, discussion. Hands if you can, so I can manage it. No?
Yeah, well done.
Oh, sorry, Louis. Why isn't your hand on my computer? Got it. Okay, away you go.
Trying to find the button. Yeah, it's gone through this thing. It's sort of not necessarily our board, but it does make it mention in there that the home for the elderly on page 74, the 3 units in Oxford Street Village in Kaikohe have been structurally compromised and a need for them to be demolished. Are we able to find out why that is?
Is that a misplaced paragraph?
Well, it's probably misplaced, but it's just a point that they made in that report. So I thought, oh, wonder what's going on there, because they've got 3 units less, and they've had to rehouse the tenants that were in those units.
Yeah. Does well, I'll tell you what, why don't you just ask the you just send an email to the CE.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
It'll be a personal request. I don't know that we can make it from the community board, given that it's on Kaikohe.
Yeah, I just wondered if anybody had any information with regard to that. That's all. Okay, I'll do that.
Cool. Any further discussion? Okay, Malima, would you like to do our thing, please?
Certainly, one moment. Chair Edmonds.
Yep.
Member Davis.
Yes.
Member Turenberg.
Yep.
Member Van Galen.
Yep.
Member Hessel.
Yes.
Member Byers. Member Vusic.
Aye.
Member Tipania.
Aye.
Okay, that's carried. How about we go to item 7.2, our action sheet. So what we'll do here is we'll just, as part of the motion, I'll allow open discussion on the items, back and forth if we want. So do we have a mover, please?
I'm happy to move. Yeah.
John moves and
I'll second it.
Yeah, that sounds like Louis.
Yep.
Okay, John, do you have any comments?
Just a note, really. Again, you notice the footpaths that are coming up possible to. So we are aware of that need. We are trying to do something along those lines, but really that's something we've got to push, as per the comments you made before, Chair, where it's being ignored and being thrown in a different bucket.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, that footpath one.
Yep.
Sorry.
Let's go, Kelly, go.
Yep. Can they provide us with an updated list before their April supposed get together?
Okay, so can we agree right now to have an April workshop after our meeting?
The what?
You're all happy with the idea of having a workshop after the meeting on April?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so
although they're the ones that have requested the meeting, so I'm not sure what time frame they're looking at.
Well, they've said April, so let's have it after our meeting, because that gives us more time. So, Marlene, are you there?
I am, and that is noted.
Okay, so it's the question from Kelly I'd like noted if we can.
That a workshop on footpaths be held. Oh, sorry, that the list of footpaths be provided before the April meeting. Cool.
Yeah, sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Yep.
Great stuff, thank you. Okay, any further comments?
Yeah, a couple of questions.
Louis, you got a manual hand, have you? Yep.
Yeah, I've got the other one too.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
One is with regard to the Omapri Wharf, like we've all been invited to sort of opening of the new wharf sort of thing coming up shortly. But like, and it says here that they're going to progress the other one. What we were asking for, is that sort of any time frame with regard to that? Trying to get the tidal stairs in the thing that they didn't include in our wharf at Omapri?
Look, Helen rang me the other day and I asked that, and she said it's underway. So that's all I got. So I noticed there's an update here, 24th of January, which was like just a week ago. So it's I guess it's underway, Louis. I mean,
it's underway and it's going to happen.
Well, I think it's all to do with budgets. If they get the money to do it, then they'll do it.
Yeah. Looks like they said there's existing budget.
We made our resolution, right? And we updated it, I think. Did we update our resolution?
Yeah, we did. We changed. We made it stronger.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because at first they weren't going to put those tidal stairs in.
That's right.
So yeah. I can see.
Because if you look at the resolution that's named in the report, it's our original resolution, if you recall. Whereas didn't we update the resolution? Hang on, you muted, Louis. Oh, there you go.
We made a statement that went with the resolution that we want to make sure that those tidal stairs went in.
That's right, because we included recitals, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where we included a whole lot of whereases.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just Marlene, were those whereases passed on?
They were passed on through the chair. The Far North Holdings has confirmed through Helen Ronaldson that the stairs will be included within the budget that they have, and that's ongoing, Louis. So the yes is the.
And do you think our whereases worked, Marlene?
I absolutely do.
Excellent. John, your turn.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, for the comment. It's not so much what's written here, but I'm just wondering if we have another action item to be included. And what it was is I had from the Cycleway Trust Chair or CEO raised the pump track issue, understanding that there was some money and got told there wasn't, and that they had
John,
to do it. So I'm concerned about that.
This outstanding action only includes resolutions that we pass as a board, not just action points that we bring up.
Right.
I think I spoke to Mukul. I think that's something that the three of us can take offline and get
bring an action item to a resolution. Yeah, thank you. Great, thanks.
Cool. Any other comments?
Yes, if I may. Yep. The next one on the list, which is the Footpath Program, which relates to the footpath on Manning Street. Now, that's been previously approved by the board, and there was also the issue of the $80,000 that has gone astray. Any more progress on that? Okay, it says the workshop in April with NTA, but the thing is, it's what's happening. This was supposed to be done out of money that was already there.
Yes, and I've continued to raise that in other forums, Louis, and without success actually. So I'm not quite sure. Once again, I mean, if the organisation won't answer our questions, and won't answer the community board questions or the community board chair's question, I'm not quite sure where to go.
Yeah, I don't know where to go either. We have to deal with the public. We're advocating on their behalf, and footpaths are a constant gripe, whether in Opanoni or Rawani or whatever. There's been a number of big issues that council have just recently come to the party with, because people were falling over on the loose chip and Amapri and things like that. People are getting tangled up. There's a power pole in the middle of the footpath that was placed there when they relocated the power poles recently. These sort of things have got to be addressed. They can't be left. If they can do the boardwalk in Opua to Pahia with very little discussion or things, why can't we get the basics in Rawani or Opanoni?
Okay, so Louis, is that a rhetorical question, or do you have an answer?
I don't know why we're not getting it done. It's maybe because more of council staff or live over the other side. Who knows? Maybe it's because they've got more people living over there that are sort of making bigger waves, or getting their wheels oiled or whatever, getting the squeaky wheel oil. I don't know, but I don't think it's very fair. The issues that come up here aren't getting dealt with as quick or as timely as other things. There's got to be a better way of doing this so that we can get these issues done. There's people out there that are getting frustrated and angry and setting up little groups, and probably going to the media and all sorts of things. What do we do? How do we get listened to? I hope council staff are listening to our meeting. I see some of them are there. I don't know. It's frustrating. Yeah, I think I'll shut up now.
No, I mean, look, we all share your frustrations, Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairperson.
Okay, cool.
You said that.
Hang on, I'll go.
Louis, it is incredibly frustrating, but what we need to ensure we do is to empower our communities over here to ensure that they follow the processes that we have in place, so that we can push as community board members within the organisation as well from our side. So I know in our workshop for this, we discussed some of the issues and how Member Hessel had received 15 phone calls. What would have been great with those 15 phone calls was that there were 15 requests for service, that the toilets were not clean, to go through to our staff as well, so that we could also push and say, actually, there's the data, there's the process that's being followed, make sure that you suss it out. Definitely agree with you on a lot of those points too, about what we see happen over the East, but we also know that the East have very strong community groups that actually put applications into all these extra funding mechanisms, and they get them. And then when we see what happens in Mangonui or in Opua, a lot of the time it isn't just council funds, it's external funding that's come through to do that, and that's what we need to push our communities to go out and get, so that we can have those wins over our side as well.
Look, I agree with Moko. However, Moko, I will moderate that enthusiasm with the idea that there have been times where the community has gone out all guns blazing and got no support at all, or and I'm sure John can support me on this one. There are times where the organisation has been quite obstinate in their opposition to, or simply to stop support for these things. So at some stage you've got to get council support to go through with community action, and we've seen many examples where community support is unevenly forthcoming across the district from the council. So and John, if you want to jump in here and give some examples, but I think we all know the examples. So at what point do the community just give up and say, sorry, you've beaten us?
Can I just add something here, Mr. Chairperson?
Yep.
Okay, look, I think we're hearing these frustrations all the time, and yes, we are, as a community board, actually being blamed that things don't get done. I think what we need to do is, I think the outline of the process needs to be done again so that we know exactly what that is, and I think it needs to be written into the newsletters for the different communities so that they know as well. I don't think they know what the correct process is, because even if it comes to us, we bring it up, but nothing gets done. There has to be another way.
So, Mr. Chair, if I can, yeah, look, I won't give examples, there are plenty examples, but I think it was raised, the fact that it was raised by Councillor Court that Kaikohe-Hokianga seems to miss out, something should be done. The issue is it's not being done. One of the things that seems to frustrates me, and it seems to be happening, is that when the communities aren't getting that support, I really do agree with a lot of what Moko said, that the communities, if they were to rally themselves and put up a strong case and everything, would be very helpful, and to back, their community board, and to actually, like for example, some of the things that were raised in Rawene, that would be very helpful. But at the same time, as you have pointed out, it often goes into, as you know, the requests you've made for delegations and how hard that has had to be. And we needed a motion of council, which gave you those delegations and did that on the council table. It's not the process ideally we should be going through. It should be a matter of course recognising the importance of the community board and making allocation as to the community board for the resources from council as the Act states, doing that in a fair and equitable way. But it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be more, look, here's a major need. There's a lot of people here. We know we'll get a lot of complaints. Let's move to having a process that is actually transparent and right across the region. Every community of interest is treated the same, and that's what I'd like to see. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. And Moko, did you want to elaborate on your message to me, or are you quite happy to take the stance of John? Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Yep. I still got my hand up. Yeah, I think it's a matter of resources. Like the Hokianga and Kaikohe don't have the resources available to them that they do on the other side. It's also, like recently one of the jobs we saw done was speed bumps put in place in Rawene, and that was because we got a person that was receptive to our community. They listened, they saw our problems, and they went about and got the job done, no matter, as best she could. The trouble is she's gone, and we lost that person that was receptive to our community. We don't always have the staff that want to listen to our plight. We don't always, I think there's a whole issue of equity we're not being dealt with fairly by a lot of things. We're being pushed aside, shunted aside, that we're missing out on things. You know, they don't care. You know, and I'm not saying everybody.
Who's they, Louis?
The people that make decisions. I know it's council that makes decisions, but again, it's, you know, the Bay of Islands has got 4 councillors on council, and I'm not saying that they're being whatever it is called, you know, but yeah, I'll keep quiet now. Shut up.
Yes. Okay. Right. Well, so Louis, your hand's still up. I think you're the only one there. Hang on.
I'll try to get me hand off.
That's cool. Okay. Right. We'll take a vote on this one. All those in favour of moving that the report be received, just aye.
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 Are there any no's? Okay, carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, so back to the funding request. So I'm going to make the motion here simply because there are a couple of additions to it that we've discussed offline that we need to deal with. Okay, so the motion I move, hang on, let me just bring back the page.
Motion on your screen through the chair.
Oh, good. Okay, right. Okay, just hold on, Emma. Sorry, Marlena. The big book to go through. There we go. Okay, I move that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board. So there'll be 2 at the end here, Marlena, that you'll have to. I'll say slowly. Okay, A, declines the funding application received from the Hokianga Sailing Club for the tar sealing of Access Way for the Sailing Club of Hokianga Gym, and suggests the Hokianga Sailing Trust make a submission during the long-term plan submission process with support from the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board planning process. B, approves the sum of blank to be paid for by the board's community fund account to Manaaki Tinana Trust for the purchase of a laptop. C, approves the request from Manaaki Tinana Trust to extend their project timeframe for the funding that was allocated in February 2020. D, approves the sum of blank to be paid from the board's community fund account to Rob Pink for the purchase, transportation, and installation of sand to the Clinton Esplanade Beach. E, approves the request from Pioneer Village to roll over the $1,500 allocated for costs for the 2021 Halloween party. F, approves the sum of blank to be paid from the board's placemaking fund account to June Hicks for the completion of the Broadwood Bridge feasibility study to support the community outcomes. G, grants $5,000 for the protection of the Hurikawa
Through the
tree.
chair.
Yep.
That final one that you were just stating.
Yep.
May need further discussion.
Which one?
The granting of the $5,000.
But there will be discussion. That's what we will discuss.
So all of these are going into public excluded?
We'll discuss at the minute. So what we've got to do is we've got to open the motion, which I haven't finished yet. Okay, then we've got to consider going into public exclusion for discussion. So let's start here. So what's your point, Manuel?
Sorry, I was seeking clarity as to whether we're shifting all these into public excluded for discussion. But you've clarified that we aren't doing that right now.
No, we'll only once because these aren't public excluded items. It's only part of the discussion. Will be public excluded. Yeah.
And that's different from the motion. What have we added?
Okay, so no, with the adding, hang on, let me finish the motion. Okay, the adding that we approve the sum of $5,000, okay, for the protection for placement of barriers to protect the trees and open only. Okay, so that's just, I'll explain in a minute why that is. And the next one is to approve the sum of, or grant the sum of, hang on, $21,000 to ARCO for a master plan of Mangamoka. Okay, do I have a seconder for those
Yep.
items before we talk about them?
Now, some of these aren't in our agenda, so how do we
Yep.
do that?
Yeah, that's okay. I've moved a motion, okay, with those things in it, Louis. Okay, once we get a seconder, then I can explain why they're in there, and we can discuss and approve or disapprove at the time.
Okay.
Okay, so do I have a seconder for those things, please?
Yep.
Okay, Alan. Okay. So Marlena, do you have those last two?
I do not. Just one
Okay.
moment.
So it would be useful to keep the numbering the same as what our agenda is and add the other one into it, because F has now become G in this paper, this resolution line.
Yeah, we're going to sort that out. We're going to sort out the. Okay, so there's more here. Okay. Oh, okay. No. Okay. Yeah. Carry on. Malima, what we'll do is we'll let you do your part first before we start discussing.
Thank you.
Okay, so while Marlene is doing that, I'll just explain the last two. The second to last one was the $5,000 for the barriers around the open only Pūtakawa tree. In the last meeting, we said that would come from the placemaking fund, and this should come from the placemaking fund as well, for water barriers. Okay, now there was specifically water barriers. So all this grant, this resolution is to expand it just to barriers or protection, so that because at the moment I think there's rocks there, isn't there, Louis?
They've placed rocks there, and they seem to be doing the job. Alan might know better.
Yeah, so that's
they're doing the job.
Yeah, so that's just to cover our butts for the actual use of the money that we allocated last meeting.
Okay.
Okay, and the second one is we've had we've been working with Mangamuka for years now, and they come back with a master plan price. Okay, and so for $21,000, which can come out of place. Can you put to be granted out of placemaking funds there, Malima? Which basically they've, as we all know, both of those, H and I. As you know, they've been at the community boards, on the community board's case and the council's case for many years about the toilets, and they were just going to be replaced with something the other day. And we've asked them to put together, or they've asked us if they could put together a master plan for the whole corner, and which will include the toilets. So hopefully, once this master plan's done, then we can look at what's actually needed for toilets and support them on a long-term plan basis.
So in the master plan, what are they actually looking at? It's more than just the toilets.
Yes, the whole corner, the whole area.
The whole village centre, Mangamuka
The whole village centre, okay.
And then that community will be able to use that master plan for long-term plan funding, for anything and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great cause, and as I think Emma said, they've been ignored for 15 years, been asking for this.
Yep, no, I got no problem with improvements there.
Okay, so what we'll do is I'm going to take a motion now to go into public exclusion, because the free and frank discussion with officers and the privacy of natural people.
Before we do this,
yep,
not all of those need to go into public exclusion. Some of them.
No, what I'll do is I will limit the public exclusion discussion to those things that need to be in public exclusion. Everything else can come back out into the meeting.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so actually good point. Thank you, Louis. Let's do it that way. Okay, I can see that. Okay, does anybody wish to discuss A in public exclusion? Okay. Does anybody wish? Okay, sorry, Louis. Yes.
No, that's all right.
Okay. Does anybody wish to discuss B in public exclusion? C. D. Or the Pioneer Village one? The Broadwood Bridge one?
Yes, that needs to be discussed.
Okay, yep. The Pahutakawa trees? Mangamuka.
Yep.
Okay, well in that case there we only need to discuss. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take discussion on the others. I'll take discussion on everything except
Which one was the ceiling of the footpath? Was that the first one? Was it the ceiling of the gym area?
Yeah.
I think that'll probably need to be discussed in public exclusion. Like the recommendation is that we decline it, but I think we need to do a little bit more than just declining it. So I think we should discuss options in public exclusion.
Okay.
I thought they were all public exclusion.
No, we only discuss those that actually have reasons for being in public exclusion, Emma. Okay. So the money for the purposes of the purchase of the laptop. Does anybody wish to discuss that?
That's open now, is it? Are we going to move it as a motion?
No. We're just discussing it. The motion and everything comes at the end, Louis.
Okay.
I'm happy.
Yep, that was good.
Okay. Yeah, just hold on. Look, Aisha, you got your hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was just to check around, so Louis was demonstrating a lack of understanding around the grant to Mangamoka. The legislation that we operate your meetings under prevent you from raising items not on the agenda.
I'm glad
so I just wondered.
I'm glad you raised that. Can you please bring?
Unless we have a 75% agreement from the committee, or what is it?
She's talking about late items and all that kind of stuff. Can you please? We need Catherine, we need Kim, and we need Anna in the room, please. Anna,
we are all here.
Anna Mules. Okay. Now I'm going to ask these people the following question. Okay. In the middle of 2021, maybe it wasn't Kim, but it was definitely Catherine and Anna came to us with a change in the request for money, and I think it was to do with Outward Bound, and it wasn't on the agenda. And we went round and round and round, and I asked them specifically whether this clause applied, and they said it didn't. And I once again I made the item, so they were quite happy. Everybody was quite happy that the similar case in the future could be done without problems. Okay, and everybody in the room said yes, we have no problems with community board making in the funding request part of the meeting another grant that wasn't on the agenda. So, Aisha, what legislative changes have been made between the middle of 2021 and now that would prevent us doing exactly the same thing that the staff asked us to do and agreed that we could do in the middle of 2021?
So you're well aware of the legislation that we operate meetings under, which mean that you cannot raise an item not on the agenda. The funding policy is not my area of expertise to know whether or not you have the ability through the funding policy to do so.
The argument made at the time, Aisha, okay, was that we had an item, a funding item. We weren't bringing up an item that wasn't on the agenda. We were just making an amendment to the item, okay? Because we can make amendments to the item, right? So all of the arguments made by staff and everybody in the room that we clarified, and we went. You can go back to the tapes if you want. We spent half an hour on this item, okay? And we went round and round and round, and I asked probably 5 times, "Are you aware of what this means and the rules?" And they said, "Yes, we are, and it's perfectly okay." And I said, "Are you?" So that means that in the future, if we bring an item, a funding item that is not on the agenda, and wish to fund it, and everybody in the room said yes. So I asked you again, Aisha, what has changed between 2021, where the staff can come and request that we change our minds, and include something, and now when this is a member requested change.
So regardless of the advice that was provided, the legislation, to my knowledge, has not changed. It may be that the advice that was provided at the time was incorrect.
Or maybe
the requirements under the Local Government Act to make a decision mean that you need to be fully aware of things that I don't think the board members present today are, or that you're demonstrating for public transparency as required by the Local Government Act again. My recommendation would be that you don't grant funding for this particular matter, but we could bring it to your next meeting.
Okay,
It's up to you to choose whether or not you listen to the advice.
Okay, what I'd like to do is I mean, I'll open to the board, but I'm very, very disappointed in this, Aisha. Very disappointed. You have no idea how disappointed I am. Okay, because we asked for this advice in the middle of 2021 because we were concerned of this very thing. Okay, the very thing, the very points that you're bringing up now in 2022, we spent at length discussing in 2021, and we were assured over and over again that it was okay. And I ask you again, what has changed between now and then?
As I mentioned, I'm not aware of any legislative changes.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm quite happy to put it at the board. Look, I'm just going to put it to you guys. Are you happy with Aisha's advice, or would you rather go with the advice that we spent half an hour discussing last year? Because I mean, Aisha could be wrong, right? I mean, if the staff advice last year could be wrong, Aisha could be wrong now. What do you want to go with?
I'm happy, Mr. Chair, to put those motions there.
Anybody else wish it to be changed?
In my own understanding of standing orders, legislatively, I think we've got a way around it either way. So I would like to see us still carry on.
Okay, cool. Anybody else from the board? And I'll take Cheryl's and Kim's comments in a minute. Anybody else from the board? Okay, so the board has offline got a lot more information than has been presented just now, in terms of information in terms of what this requires and what it is. So I'm happy that the board knows what they're talking about. So Kim.
Through the chair, Cheryl has raised her hand. Kim has lowered hers.
So it's Kim. Sorry. Okay. So Cheryl, away you go.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I know that event that you're referring to, Mike, was related to Outward Bound, and I know that the whole thing was a bit of a. I know that you were unhappy about it, Mike. I would like to take that one offline. I don't recall the circumstances of what actually happened, and I wasn't there. And Anna Mules is actually on leave today. She just popped in briefly to listen. So if you're okay with us doing this, Mike, we will take this offline and address it directly. It could be that the advice that you got was wrong. It could be that there were different circumstances. I don't know. And it's caught me a bit on the hop this morning, so I can't answer the question right now.
Okay, cool.
So if you're okay with that, we'll take it offline.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay, sure. Just. I mean, I guess. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. We'll take that offline. I'm just going to have a quick chat with the board. About this, because we want, I mean, I think there's a general agreement that we need to do something about this in some way. So maybe what we'll do is we'll pass a motion that allows it to happen elsewhere, and then if it passes everybody's muster, then we'll just do it. Okay, so why don't we go into public exclusion now and discuss the ones you wanted to discuss in public exclusion? And then we'll come back out to finish the item. Okay, so do I have a motion for public exclusion? That'll come from you, McCall.
Yes, Chair, I'd like to move that we go into public exclusion for items F, G, and H. Is it?
Or just the whole motion, public exclusion for
the whole motion.
Yeah. Okay, I'll second that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Okay, thanks. Okay, so
through the chair,
Sorry, was that Aisha? Was that, we're online, are we? Okay, thank you. Right, are there any further discussion on this topic that hasn't been discussed? Okay, right, I'll put this in parts. Okay, so the first part is A, the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board declines the funding application for received from the Hokianga Sailing Club for the task sealing of accessway, and suggest they make it a submission, and that we support the submission. All those in favour?
Aye.
Anybody against? Carried. Okay, approves the sum of. So can we have some numbers, please? I think I know where this is going. So I'll take it.
758.
Okay, I'll call the names and we'll go around. Okay. So Kelly 758. Laurie.
What was that about?
The number for the laptop.
A number for the laptop.
Can you ask if anyone disagrees?
No, I'm happy with you. Yep. What?
Okay, Emma. Right,
Emma.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
Member Tupania has asked if you can call for anyone who disagrees with A.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll do that next time. I'm already halfway around. So Moko, number.
Agree. 758.
And Alan.
Yeah, agreed to that.
And Louis.
Yeah, happy with that.
Okay, that's all those in favour?
Aye.
Anybody against? Okay, cool. Right, C approves the request from Manaaki Tinana Trust to extend the project timeline. All those in favour?
Aye.
Anybody against? Anybody against? No, that's carried. Okay, so Kelly, I'm gonna offer you the chance to put the number in here as an amendment and your amendment as well, please, for the 2 years, and then we'll have a quick vote on it.
1,650, and we also fund next year.
Okay, do I have a seconder on the funding next year?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favour of the amendments?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody against the amendment? Okay, we'll take. Okay, so all those in favour of the completed D, including the comment that noting the sand must be deposited landward side of the MHWS. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Carried. Okay, approves the request for the Pioneer Village Kaikohe to roll over the $1,500 was allocated for the Halloween party. All those in favour?
Aye.
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 Anybody against? Carried. Okay, right, F. So, we'll start with Kelly. The number, please, for the Broadwood Bridge.
0.
Moko.
Declines.
Okay. Mike declined. Laurie.
I got problems with it.
Okay.
To spend
Emma?
that sort of money on the planning when it could be spent on the bridge.
Emma?
I find that difficult.
Okay. Alan?
Decline.
Louis?
I'd like to see us pursue this a little bit further to find out whether it's our responsibility for funding or whether there's other stuff from council. You know, there's a whose bridge is it?
The plan is that we decline this, but that this community board works with this community on this.
Yeah.
Is that part of the commission?
No, it's not. But we can. What I'll do is I'll give you an opportunity at the end of it to make that motion specifically. How's that?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think it should be explained to June the reason for the concerns about feasibility study.
She's aware of it, Laurie. I spoke with her last night. She
Okay,
doesn't
so once again, I'm gonna offer Louis the opportunity to make a motion to work with the community on this one and the council at the end of this. So we'll go there. Okay, so I know Malima, we'll make a different motion at the end of it, rather than an amendment. Okay, so we decline the sum of $56,000. All those in favour?
Aye.
Anyone against? Okay, we grant $5,000 for the protection of the. Okay, so is that how we're going to read it, Aisha? Is that application. So is that motion correct?
I just wasn't sure if you needed to provide some clarification that it's an update to the decision that was made in December at the board's meeting.
Okay, so I'll move an amendment to that and just adds the words, and that this is a replacement for the motion at the last meeting. Do I have a seconder for that?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favour?
Aye.
Okay, and all those in favour of the entire motion that we grant $5,000 for the protection of Hurakawa trees, and that this is a replacement for the previous motion. All those in favour? Aye.
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 Anybody against? Okay, passed. Okay, and for H, the number. Okay, Kelly.
20,000.
Okay, I'll say 20,000 as well. Laurie.
Laurie?
What's he want now? The amount.
For the amount for the toilets at Mangamoka.
Yeah, I'm happy with what they. Yep.
Yeah, 24.
Yep.
For 20, we're saying, okay,
21.
So, yeah, Moko.
I'm happy with 20,000.
Cool. Alan.
20,000.
Emma.
Yeah, 20,000.
Okay,
yeah, 20,000.
Okay, so all those in favour of the whole motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Is there anybody who wants to vote against it? Cool, thank you very much. Okay, and Louis, would you like to make a motion that the community board works with the council and the community with regard to the plan for the bridge?
Yep, I'll move that.
Okay, do I have a seconder?
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody wish to discuss? Okay, all those in favour then?
Aye.
Anybody against? Okay, carried. Okay, right. I think that's the meeting. Is there anything that
Mr. Chair, sorry.
Sorry, Aisha, there we go.
The funding advisor has sent me a message behind the scenes just to ask for clarification on who the $5,000 will be paid to for the Kaikohe-Hokianga trees. So I think we might need to just provide a further amendment to that motion to make it clear that it's internal staff budgets.
I think, what did we...
Or to change authorise 5,000 grants to authorise.
There's a lot for 12 rocks. So.
Here's a question for you. We've got Kim in the room, and we've got Catherine in the room. We've got, and it's on video, and it's quite clear to replace the motion from the last one. Do we need to go there?
Through the chair, and it's Kim here, sorry. Yep. In regards to the motion, I need direction from you what I'm meant to do with that $5,000. So if it is to, it's not necessarily a grant, as I'm not granting it or giving it to anyone. As Aisha said, if you were to use the word authorise IMs, the use of the $5,000 for the Hurakawa tree, then I don't have to raise a purchase order or anything like that. I can let them know the account code and they can cost it towards that.
Okay, so does all our members understand what's being asked here?
Yes. It's effectively just ensuring we've got that audit trail to shift the funding from one budget to the next.
Okay, does everybody understand what's being asked? Okay, all those in favour of that wording instead of the old wording?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Is that good enough for you, Kim?
Through the chair, yes, that works for me. Thank you.
Okay, great. Any further meeting stuff before I close this meeting?
Okay, no, it doesn't matter. We'll do it in workshop afterwards.
Yeah, okay. So what we'll do is if you can stop recording and the meeting's closed, thanks, Malima Aisha.
Just one moment while we do that.